Today we're looking at something absolutely fascinating for language learners. If you've ever felt like you've hit this invisible brick wall when you try to speak, you are in the right place. We're diving into a concept from our source material called the shadowing method. We're going to go through the practical steps one by one to see how this might literally unlock your speaking confidence. So let's just rip the Band-Aid off and ask the hard question right up front. Why aren't you fluent yet? Honestly, it's a question that frustrates so many dedicated English learners. I mean, you've put in the hours, right? You've memorized those endless lists of vocabulary words, you've watched, countless tutorials, and yet, despite all of that sheer effort, you still can't speak confidently or naturally. So what's actually going on here? Well, look at the massive contrast here between studying English, which is mostly just relying on memorizing vocab and grammar, and speaking English, which is actually a physical skill. It requires real mouth-brain coordination. The truth hidden in our source material today is that trying to traditionally study English, that's exactly why you aren't fluent yet. You simply can't memorize your way to fluid speech. It just doesn't work like that. So, here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll cover why you aren't fluent yet. Second, what shadowing actually is. Third, fixing that mouth-brain coordination. Fourth, the step-by-step practice. And finally, 3 common shadowing mistakes. All right, let's jump straight into section 1. Why you aren't fluent yet. The source material makes a really bold claim right out of the gate here. It says, stop trying to study English. Seriously. If you've been doing the whole traditional studying thing, staring at textbooks, trying to memorize verb tables, and you still freeze up when it's time to actually open your mouth, it is time to stop. Because today, we're exploring something completely different. Which brings us to section 2. What is shadowing? Let's get a clear definition on the table. Shadowing simply means listening to a native speaker and repeating exactly what they say. But, and this is absolutely crucial, you do this at the same time, not after they finish speaking, not, later in the day. At the exact same time. You are literally becoming the speaker's shadow. This brilliantly illustrates why it works by comparing how an adult learns to how a child learns. As adults, we tend to overcomplicate things. We try to study grammar rules first, right? We try to construct sentences almost mathematically in our heads. But think about when a child learns to speak. They don't study grammar. What do? They copy sounds. They just imitate. And that is exactly what shadowing forces you to do. You're basically returning to the most natural, hardwired way human beings learn language. Let's move on to section 3, fixing mouth-brain coordination. According to our source material, your biggest problem actually isn't vocabulary. It's really not a lack of grammar knowledge either. The real issue? It's your mouth and brain coordination. Think about it. You understand English perfectly fine when you're reading or listening. But the second you try to speak, it's like your brain just gets stuck trying to send the right signals to your mouth. There's this huge disconnect between knowing the word in your head and physically producing the sound. Well, shadowing fixes that disconnect instantly, because when you force yourself to repeat instantly, you automatically unlock 4 huge benefits. Number 1, you train your brain to think faster. 2, you naturally improve your pronunciation because you're mimicking the exact sounds. 3, you pick up the natural rhythm and tone of the language, stuff textbooks literally can't teach you. And 4, you just build confidence automatically. All right, now for the really fun part. Section 4, the step-by-step practice. Okay, so here are the specific, numbered, practical steps you need to follow to actually do this technique correctly. Step 1, Listen carefully to the speaker. You really need to dial in your focus here. Step 2, repeat instantly without pausing. Remember, you are their shadow. You move when they move. And step 3, repeat again but faster. This third step is the absolute game changer. It's where you really start to push your brain to keep up with your mouth. Let's actually put these practical steps to the test right now. We're going to practice together. So here's step 1. Just listen carefully. I want to improve my English speaking skills. Okay, now for step 2, don't pause, just repeat it with me instantly as I say it. I want to improve my English speaking skills. Awesome. Now step 3, let's do it again, but a bit faster this time. Ready? I want to improve my English speaking skills. Did you notice what just happened during that third step? You didn't even have time to think. You just spoke. By going faster and repeating instantly, you completely bypassed your brain's hesitation. You basically short-circuited that internal translator that always slows you down, and you just produced the sounds. And honestly, that right there is the pure magic of the shadowing method. But before you run off to practice, we need to cover section 5, 3 common shadowing mistakes. Let's look at mistake number 1, pausing and then repeating. This is so incredibly common. People will listen to a sentence, hit pause on the video or the podcast, and then say the sentence back. Look, if you pause and then repeat, that's not shadowing. That's just regular old school practice. You're giving your brain way too much time to overthink. You have to speak while the audio is still playing. Mistake number 2 is focusing way too much on perfection. When you first start shadowing, you are going to stumble. You're going to mumble words, you're going to sound a little silly, and you definitely won't sound perfect. And you know what? That is entirely okay. Our source material really stresses that you do not need perfect pronunciation in the beginning. Don't let perfectionism kill your momentum. Just keep making the sounds and following the rhythm. And finally, mistake number 3, giving up too early. Shadowing feels really difficult at first. It's a serious mental workout. But listen to me carefully here. That difficulty, that actually means the brain-mouth coordination is working and it's improving. It's exactly like lifting weights at the gym. The burn means the muscle is growing. If you quit just because it feels a little awkward at first, you'll never break through to that fluency you want. So, what does it actually take to see real results? 10 minutes. According to the method we've outlined today, if you can commit to doing this practice for just 10 minutes every single day, your speaking will sound completely different in just a few short weeks. Just 10 minutes. I mean, that's shorter than your morning commute or the time you probably spend just scrolling on your phone, right? Which brings us to our final question for today. Will you dedicate 10 minutes today to abandon traditional studying, start your practical training, and become their shadow? The steps are simple, the logic is totally sound, and the results really do speak for themselves. So, are you ready to stop studying and actually start speaking? Think about it. Thanks for joining.